And 5, 4, 3, 2,
Pants.
1. Pants. No, welcome to the KBMOD podcast, episode 85, PAX edition, PAX East 2013, ending over this weekend. And we have a decently large cast today, but that is because I am feeling under the weather. And I don't know how much I can talk. Yeah, the PAX Pox has got me bad. But we are missing Scott, who is at work because this is not a normal night for the cast. And John, who's visiting his parents back at home. So his internet has a whopping 0.5 upload. So he will he will not be here. The voice call. So what we're gonna do, since we all had short weeks as far as gaming and stuff this week, but we're still gonna go over what we played before we left or what we were up to. So I'll go backwards around me call. We'll start with the old Chezz. What did you play this week, Chezz?
Well, as far as this week, I pretty much put down SimCity because there's obviously things that need to be fixed. But aside from that, I played a little bit of Arma.
Arma 3?
Yes, sir, some Arma 3. And at PAX, and what I'm currently playing is Smite. I'm going to give Smite 30 days just to try it, and we'll see if I learn to like MOBAs, because I don't play MOBAs at all. But that's
it's a good introductory title.
I mean, considering I play no MOBAs and no nothing, and like I just played yesterday for 4 hours, and I already feel much better than I did before, just not knowing a damn thing at all. So that's about all I've been up to.
All right. Well, yeah, Smite's pretty good. The tournament was fun to watch at PAX. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch.
Bart always a professional on the casting mic.
It's fun when it's shoutcasted.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's good at it. Bart's really good at it.
I also feel like having watched international matches and having watched MLG League matches, that there's just more action at more times for more of the match in Smite because of the nature of it. So I guess casting it would probably be a little little more exciting in general. But we'll move on here. Blacklight, what have you been playing this week?
I don't play PC games. Fuck y'all.
No, whatever you play, man. We don't restrict, baby.
This isn't a PC gaming podcast anymore. This is a Shovel Knight podcast.
I knew that's what we're going to say.
Yeah, I started getting back into TF2 a little bit. I was actually playing that before the podcast. I still suck, but I'm trying to get the ball rolling again. Especially after meeting Jerma, who's super cool, and I told him we need to play together. So I want to dress to impress with my TF2 skills and unusual hats.
Mostly the hats.
Yeah, of course. Well, skill is secondary to hats in TF2. Tropico 4 I picked up. There was the whole sale after SimCity took a shit, and it ended up being pretty good. I'm not a huge fan of like city building sim games other than SimCity, so I was pretty impressed by Tropico pretty much right away.
Did you like the complexity in it? It's more complex. I had fun playing it. I spent some time with it last weekend.
What I really liked about it is that there's so many aspects to it, but it manages it so well that it's not confusing. Because whenever something really starts to go awry, the game will actually pop up and tell you, like, hey, things are starting to get shitty on like the religion front. Things are starting to get shitty on, the loyalists hate you, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it handles it really well without, even though there's a whole lot, it doesn't seem too confusing.
Yeah, I didn't find it that overwhelming, but yeah, it's much more complicated than the new SimCity, that's for sure.
Yeah, and I did get to spend a little bit more time playing Black Ops 2. I am this close. I am 3 player-controlled kill streaks being shot down by my FHJ launcher from having every single diamond camo in the game. And
the epic saga continues.
I'm going to fucking sucker punch David Vonderhaar in the throat.
Ask Garrettson. He can do it for you while he's there, and he will punch somebody in the face.
Vonderhaar conveniently didn't show up to fight me because he refuses to defend Treyarch's honor in making this horrible decision.
Scared him away.
That is the reason why he didn't show up.
He probably was going to show up, and he saw me on Twitter, like, raring to go. I was going to fuck him up, and he knew it, so... You know, I ended up not fighting anybody at PAX because I was just so
If-
focused on fighting David Vonderhaar, and he wasn't there. So,
If,
you know.
if you don't follow Blacklight on Twitter, you should. First of all, his Twitter's on the screen right now. But you won't know that he's been going after this fucking launcher camo
For like a
since,
month.
Since like January.
For like
so,
a month. Every other weapon in the game getting gold camo. Now, a diamond camo, you get every gold weapon in that weapon class, and then that unlocks diamond for all that weapon class. Launchers are the last diamond camos that I need. And every other weapon's gold camo took maybe like 1 to 2 days worth of play, like 1 or 2 play sessions, I should say, depending on how difficult it was. I've literally been on this for a month. That's how difficult it is, and it's because the better you are at the game, the harder it is to get, because it's all based on the player-controlled streaks that they get by performing well. So if you're shitting on them, they're not getting those streaks that you need to shoot down. It's a
damn
shit
you,
design.
Treyarch.
It's the worst design ever, and it's basically a huge fuck you to completionists like me. On the not PC side of things, I just picked up Monster Hunter Tri Ultimate, which just came out for the Wii U, so I finally have a purpose for my Wii U, which is nice. It's basically just a beefed up version of a game called Monster Hunter 3, or Monster Hunter Tri, rather, that was on the first Wii. And I've also been playing through Phantom Hourglass, which is actually giving validation to Nick's assertions that Zelda sucks, because it's probably the worst entry in the series.
Yeah, what is the worst and or least popular Zelda game? That's what I'm saying.
CDI versions.
Well,
That's
not counting the CDI
my
versions.
favorite one then.
Not can't the CDI versions because they've been officially like disowned by Nintendo. But if you're talking about like actual Nintendo developed ones, then probably Phantom Hourglass or Zelda 2.
Oh yeah, Zelda
Those
2.
are both tied for my favorite now. Sweet.
Great, dude.
Nice.
So much hatred. All right, Hex, what were you doing this week? Were you real life gaming?
Yeah, I actually did get a chance to play some games this week. I played Rayman Origins with K9 Hadouken, who did not stab me to death in my sleep while he was at my house. I know.
I want that. I want a refund, K9. I sent him some money on PayPal for that to happen, but it didn't really happen. So.
Great. I
Yeah,
played
we kickstarted it.
Kickstarter.com/
Kickstarter,
If we get to certain goals, he'll send fingers to government officials and shit.
Right.
There you go.
Kickstarter indie homicide.
Yeah, you guys can own my spleen for a paltry donation of $1,500.
So you're saying it's a pixelated 2D side scroller, Nick?
Right? Yeah,
You're saying.
yeah. K9 will pixelate me and then run sideways and just shank.
Every
again.
donor that sends $50 or more gets a tiny piece of his liver
Right.
in a little envelope and a note.
Yeah.
The first
And
eight to donate at least $100 gets one of his tingers.
Right. And then you can tinker bang yourself in the anus. That'd be great. So I played that with K9. I played some more of the Android games I was playing, like uphill racing, which is still boring now. But I played Daylight at PAX, which is 8 Spooky 16 Me.
You're
Well, that
supposed to
was
be
at PAX, though.
I'm saving that
PAX
for.
suck.
I'm saving that for a
Jesus
dark
Christ.
environment.
Well, we'll talk about it later. We're not going to say anything.
Yeah,
about
don't
I
say it
played-
then.
I said I played.
Oh my god.
Nick Fenton.
Why are you here?
Wow.
Can we have Hex removed from the call, please?
Okay,
Yeah.
I quit.
There's a
Moving on.
structure with a
So
document.
moving on, Nick
Jesus.
Fenton, Knack
Here,
Fentaloni.
let me talk about stuff I didn't play at PAX because I know the format of the podcast. Hexadecimal.
I played with your
StarCraft.
boyfriend's dick at PAX. How
I think you
feel
just got
about
community
that?
banned, bro.
Jordan?
Banned.
You played with Jordan's dick?
He doesn't know it. He was
I
asleep.
played StarCraft before PAX, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna learn this." And I played like 5 matches, and I'm like, "I'm scared now."
So you're Diamond League now, right?
Right.
Yes, I'm
He's above
actually
Diamond League.
Tasia. I'm Tasia now, so I'm gonna win a lot of championships and shit. And after PAX, like today, I started playing Trials Evolution.
Oh God, don't get me started. on
Apparently,
Trials.
when if you don't close the Uplay thing, like it counts that as it's still going on Steam, and I forgot it in my background, so I'm boosting for Steam playtime.
got like 30
Booster.
hours of Trials.
Are you
played.
playing it with a controller? Yes or no?
Yeah, I'm playing with the
Okay.
controller.
How would you
I-
play that
I-
game with a keyboard for
There's
real?
people I know that say you don't need it. I'm like, you totally need it. You
Well, like the
100%
the-
need it.
I remember playing like the Flash version of it, and I played that with the keyboard. So I don't know if
But
it's
just having a
I think
trigger
there's-
makes it
Yeah, I suppose.
Having a trigger is like the best thing ever. I think you need it.
You gotta have throttle control, I think.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah. For sure.
But so that was about it. We all had short weeks, so NikonPunch.
NikonPunch. What did I play?
You got your D6.
Oh, that's right. I did get my D6 with the legit Blue Baby.
That's right. Not like you cheaters out there in KBMOD
Yeah.
land.
If you didn't get the D6 the legit way, kill yourself. But
Blue Baby swag.
I hate that game. Binding of Isaac is the best, worst game I ever spent $2 on. So, but
What a great
yeah,
descriptor.
Isaac and Smite. That's all I play now. Those 2 games.
Oh, I played Smite today too.
Yeah, I played Smite this week too, but y'all cut me off like a motherfucker.
Yeah, well, that's because you feed.
Yeah, you do feed.
Oh, nice! I won my first match.
Haha.
Suck my dick.
Hey, we need a 6th person for this Smite game. Anybody? Can we do like big team battle Smite? Get some 8v8 ground.
Is there
war.
one with 5
Ground war
lanes in
Smite.
it?
Ground
Because that would be
war
really
Smite.
fun.
I need some ground war Smite, please.
5
Thank
lanes
you.
Smite game.
That joke is now as old as Extra Life, and it's still funny.
God damn, that smelled good.
Then it's not even like a MOBA. That's like a World of Warcraft battleground when you have that many people at
Don't
that
get me
point.
started, because I'll play that. I'm gonna play that again. I'm gonna play it
Yeah,
again.
nice.
So-
Man, Planetside Smite. Good call.
So
Good
Brandon, who was not in the cast last week, so I'm going to ask him about something he was doing last week as well. Brandon was at MLG last week, and I hate him for being there because I watched like 8 hours of StarCraft last weekend. So how was being at MLG?
It was very cool. Really neat event. It was actually all just one big room, and so the Call of Duty stuff was kind of in the middle. And that was kind of that was neat. Obviously, I'm not huge into a console shooter
I
with
love console
thumbsticks,
esports, dude. I love console esports.
but you know what? I actually I enjoy watching it more than playing it. Watching it was actually kind of neat, just because the teams are sitting right there in front of you, and people are clapping when there's cool plays and stuff. So it was neat. And then they had League off to the left side and StarCraft off to the right side. So it was nice because you could stand and kind of watch, some Call of Duty and League, or like Call of Duty and StarCraft. So it was pretty easy to keep on top of kind of everything that was going on. And like you said, there were a ton of good matches. So it was awesome.
Yeah,
there was free Dr. Pepper and free Flips pretzels.
Oh man, those Flips commercials, did not see enough of those
Flips.
during StarCraft.
Yeah. So
Also after MLG, there was a huge influx of MSMC users on COD.
Yes.
Everyone was using them.
No, that's what they talked about in StarCraft, which, I mean, makes sense. But they were like, so one of the Zerg guys did really good with like a certain strategy that isn't normally employed. So they were like, come Monday, it's just going to be, ladder's just going to be full of these dudes going like Zerglings or whatever it was.
That's like my favorite part about esports is that everybody that's like really bad at the game will try to replicate it. I watched I watched a video from Navi earlier for Dota 2, and it was like a strat for doing jungle shit. And like the top comment is like, please don't try this in a regular match. Go into a bot game, please, for the love of God.
He is one of the best in the world.
It's like,
please
you
don't
will
try
not pull this off. You do not have 7,000 hours on Dota 2.
But yeah, no, see, this is why I was so impressed with StarCraft, because Hex and I are sitting there on like
Good
G-Chat
Lord, what a
watching
game.
Flash versus Bly. And
That
Bly was a white dude, so already know he's the underdog in this match.
You're not from the Pacific Rim, you're out.
But he was playing Zerg, and he pulled off just through like 7 disconnections too. So the pressure in his head had to be like mounting. He made like this sick comeback. I don't even know what's going on in StarCraft 2, but I was so happy about it. It was
LAN connections are for assholes.
Yeah, I was. Can we talk about that real quick? Why didn't they? I get that and a lot of people were yelling at me about this on Twitter because I tweeted about it at the time, like that these are embarrassing. These disconnections. They were like, well, they can just resume from replay. That's not the point. Don't you want a fluid... Don't you want a fluid game the whole time, you know?
You know how much that takes you when you are in a zone for a StarCraft game, especially at that level, if it's like, oh, well, it's cool, dude, the game could just close, then we'll reload it and reload a replay. You're completely out of it at that point. You get into like a rhythm when you play a game at that level.
Yeah,
and
I felt
you
so
can't
bad.
resume.
That made it even better. Go ahead, Nick.
Doesn't like I think League of Legends have a LAN client for like tournament settings. I think they made one.
Probably.
They made one because
made for season 2.
Made it
so there was something that happened early on where they were like, let's build this.
Yeah, I think they threw them together for like under their supervision. So I like they could just do something like that.
Yeah, and supposedly for the original StarCraft 2, they had talked about doing a LAN type client for MLG type competitions in Korea, but it had never gotten to here for some reason.
So, but yes, so MLG is very cool then. Now MLG, is it just, this shows you how much I know about this, is it just the 4 seasonal events, or are there like little tiny events in between?
I think it's the 4 seasonal ones, because I think all the other stuff I want to say is online, like the qualifiers and everything. Okay. And I think it culminates in the 4 events.
Do they broadcast like qualifiers and stuff, or?
I think so, but I honestly don't know a ton about it.
Last time I went to MLG, I stayed at a 4 Seasons, and it was terrible. I don't know if that helps.
That
wasn't as bad as our hotel.
Extremely helpful. So, oh God, where Nikon and I almost got shanked at the McDonald's.
So
yeah, your guys' hotel's in kind of a shady.
Yeah, it was in a terrible area. But so also, Brandon, I did see you tweet this. You did finish The Walking Dead.
Yes.
Good for you.
How were the feels? How were the feels?
I don't even know. I mean,
I hated the ending personally, but
the whole the
very ending.
I didn't expect how it was going to end because I didn't I guess I didn't know how they were going to go into the next episodes of The Walking Dead, like their next season.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to spoil anything, but I didn't really expect it to end like that. And anyone who's played it will know what I mean. Like, there's the direction that it goes. Like, oh, okay, I guess this next season is going to have a really different tone. But yeah, it's just the whole Walking Dead stuff. I love and hate the whole thing because I now want to go back and I guess I'm sure someone has already made this, but look at like the matrix for decisions you make and how they actually affect your game. Mm-hmm. Because there are points in the game where you have a dialogue box and you only have a few seconds to decide, and right as I was trying to choose an option and I knew it was a huge decision, I regretted my option afterwards, and I was like, I want to know how this would affect my game if I decided to do it the other way. Yeah. And you only kind of get glimpses into that at the end of the game.
This part is not really a spoiler because it's only in episode 2 and a lot of people know about it, and I'm guessing a lot of people in here also watched my playthrough. But the decision with Larry, episode 2, I chose the thing that like only 20% of people choose. So half the people got to see a bunch of stuff in episode 2 that they'd never seen. So that was pretty cool because I didn't know how much it actually changes shit up.
That's the cool thing about the game is that stuff like that can happen.
Yeah, and there's.
I feel like towards the end of the game, like in episodes 4 and 5, I feel like there are so many different paths. The first few episodes, you kind of feel like, okay, I could see where this splits off, and there's going to be a little bit of difference between the decisions. But by the end of the game, I feel like there are at least 5, 6, 7 different paths that you could be on towards the end. And I feel like you're only seeing a small part of the game with your one path that you went down.
Yeah. There were a lot of people who said for the choices I didn't make really popular decisions with. They were like, I've never seen this before, or this part happens totally differently. So that was cool. How intense is the scene with the dude before the end? Not with Lee and Clem, but right before that.
I can't. I feel like we can't say these things.
Man, how long do you have to wait until you can start spoiling things? Like,
unless
you're hacked.
What's the rule of thumb?
Unless you're hacked, and then it's The Hobbit, and you have to wait 70 years.
Yeah,
after the release of The Hobbit,
at least 80 years. All right.
You have to wait until the copyright expires.
The thing about this game, though, Nick, is like if you spoil it, then you literally ruin any reason at all to play it.
It's a choose your own adventure thing. That's all it is the story. So you don't want to. I mean, we don't want to say anything that'll be.
Want to know what the safe zone is for like
Well,
being able
I feel this game is just a whole other animal. That's why I feel like
I feel this game
once-
kind of works like TV, where it's like you got to get at least 1 to 2 seasons past that original season before you can be like, oh yeah, in season 1 this shit happens. Because if you're really gonna watch the show or play the game,
at the end of Breaking Bad, they cooked some meth.
fucking asshole! I was gonna watch
Spoiler,
that.
dude. Not cool.
Just letting you know.
Did you play anything else? I just saw you tweet that. So.
Yeah, I played. I think this would have been. Yeah, it was a couple of weeks ago. I played a little bit of Hotline Miami, which I had bought on Steam sale.
Trippy.
And it actually, I think the game actually gave me a headache because I went to bed that night with a headache, and I don't know if it was just a coincidence, but the game itself, I felt like I was on drugs.
That's fair. Yeah.
I think they were going for that.
Yep.
I know it's a great game for what it is going for. I'm not even sure I can play it again because I was getting a headache from playing it. But I played a little bit of that.
That's one of those games. The first time I played it, I did not understand it at all, and then went back and played it later, and I was like, no, this game is actually really good, but it's really messed up too.
Well, and I didn't really get the point at first where it's kind of like a speedrunning game almost. Like you're kind of running for a record once there's an optimal way to do each level. And so I can see it's kind of almost like sort of like Super Meat Boy. Like you can get frustrated because you can't get past one part, but once you have it down, you're going for time and stuff. So I played that, and then the only other thing I've played is I got Heart of the Swarm, and I've been playing through a bit of the campaign, which I've heard mixed things about, but I don't think I'm far enough to really have much opinion on it. But it's still, I would say so far, I like some of the changes they've made on the single player side, where you have like units that you can evolve and kind of specialize and stuff. I feel like that's a pretty cool feature. And again, StarCraft 2, I've said this before, but I think they did a really good job with Wings of Liberty with the campaign, giving you like a lot of different unique styles of missions. And so far, Heart of the Swarm is doing the same thing.
They've always had like real good RTS campaigns compared to like the average RTS campaign that's just kind of like real generic.
Yeah, so I've been enjoying that, and having been at MLG, I've been watching more StarCraft and stuff, so I'm getting a little bit more into StarCraft. I'm probably still never going to play online because it's
let's do some Masters League doubles, Brandon. We'll get there. We'll have 700 APM. We'll go to Korea for 10 years. We'll be roommates. And then we'll maybe hit silver.
If I lose you guys from KBMOD because you go professional in StarCraft, I'm totally cool with that.
That would be amazing. That would be sweet.
I actually come back and guest star and act like
we'll
you're doing
both have mansions in Korea with like 7,000 strippers.
Kimmy J, #1 StarCraft commentator.
Kimmy J.
All right. Well,
I actually played HOTS multi on the floor, and it was good. It was fun. I'm still terrible at it, but it was a lot of fun.
Yourself on the showroom floor?
Oh hell yeah! Well, the best thing was I didn't embarrass myself. I embarrassed NV BlizzCon, which was the account everyone was signed into when you were playing that game. So I was like, yeah, I can play TOS, and I started strong in the opening, and then just got wrecked by some Zerg player, and I was like, well. Not on my account. Don't care.
See, that's actually the best way to do it because no one knows who you are. But if you go online with your own account, it's like that record sits there on your account forever.
Yep. Yeah, so feeling pretty good about that toss loss on the floor at PAX East because at least I got to play HOTS. It was good.
We'll end it with myself here. So I finished Alan Wake. The ending was an acid trip.
It's weird. It's like they like took all of the story from like the halfway to 3/4 of that game, and then they like dried that whole section out and then put it at the end. They're like, we're gonna put everything in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was
because it drags on. Like,
oh my god, bros. Yeah. Okay, so here's my feelings on Alan Wake. Play Alan Wake if you haven't. It's a good game. When you get to the ending, just be prepared for the ending to be about 45 minutes longer than it really should be. So that's what I would say. And prepare for the most annoying, stupid platforming section in the history of mankind on the way to the end. Which isn't even that hard. It's just like, why am I doing this? Is what you're mostly asking yourself.
I got it when it first came out. Still haven't installed it. Get at me.
I played
good.
it on Xbox.
Looks really good on PC.
I'm not doubting that I bought it because it looked good.
Yeah.
And I heard it was good, and I have installed it like the other 80% of my Steam library.
I also think that that game would be very impressive to watch someone play on like whatever the hardest difficulty is, because once I even got the combat, I hated the combat. People know this, but
I think it's good.
But it was hard, man. There were some hard sections, especially when you just get overwhelmed with stuff. But the ending, that was the other thing, Nick. I don't know if you felt this way. The end, quote unquote, boss thing. Super easy, just like stupidly.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they make that any harder on a harder difficulty, but you essentially just spam into that thing with.
I hate it when games do that. An easy final boss is so fucking disappointing.
Yeah. So it was. I mean, the video effect was cool and stuff, but it was just like, all right, well. So I do want to play American Nightmare, though. People have said it's pretty good, and I need to check it out. So I may do that. I also have played about 3 hours of Trials Evolution now. I streamed it last week. I also...
Can I just say, that game, I was watching you stream it, and every time, because I don't really know a whole lot about it, I've just seen people streaming it, and when I thought I'd seen the most ridiculous thing in that game, all of a sudden you would go on some new course, and this completely, like, more ridiculous things would happen.
Yeah.
To the point where at that one level where you hit the end and your guy runs into a gas tank and then just flies up into the distance after being detonated. I completely lost it.
The physics engine is the greatest thing about the game. It is. But the game on PC is a really good deal too, because you actually get the game before Evolution, like another whole game with it, Trials HD. So you get them both inside one game. And there's a bunch of custom stuff. People should know this because it's been on Xbox for a year or so now, but there's tons of custom maps and just like crazy stuff. And I'm really bad at that game, and I still have enjoyed the multiple hours I spent with it.
Yeah,
All Sham No Wow and I, though, today on stream played multiplayer. It took us 25 minutes to get connected to each other over Uplay in a multiplayer game because it uses Uplay. My Uplay doesn't even work in game now. I can't bring it up in game anymore. It just stopped working.
Yeah, so when I played that with Fedski, it took us half an hour before it worked for me. I think I had to restart my computer twice.
But
this is still Trials Evolution you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even know you could play that with other people.
Yeah, you can play 4-player co-op. Oh. Well, not co-op, but like racing against each other. It's pretty fun.
You should just play Happy Wheels.
Mark is super good though, so it wasn't very entertaining. Like there was no close races. He's got like all gold stars on all 200 tracks or whatever. So, but in my opinion, you do need a controller for that game. We talked about this a little before the podcast started.
Yeah.
But there's throttle control and brake control basically.
You need it.
You need the triggers, in my opinion.
It's definitely essential.
Sam has said otherwise, but I think you do. Otherwise, the controls.
Like a driving game. I mean,
yeah, the controls are super simple. That's the best part, though. Throttle, brake, and move your weight, shift your weight forward or back.
Yeah, but it's crazy because it is super simple, but like the hard levels are really goddamn hard.
Oh
yeah, you think that game's going to be easy watching it? Try playing.
Terrible.
It is not.
Yeah,
it's not.
Yeah,
I am 14% completion in 3 hours. 14%. So, it's $20 or something, but it looks like the hours you spend will be worth it.
Yeah,
so.
It's got a lot of you could do more types of games in that game besides just motorcycle stuff. Like there's other things you can do with the editor and all that stuff. It's just ridiculous.
I'm a cheap bastard when it comes to buying games. That game is totally worth $20.
Yeah.
So buy it.
So it's hard, but it's fun. So
if you don't, it'll probably go on sale in a week.
That was pretty much what I've played over the past week, and that's about it. Before PAX. So I didn't even get to delve into more Mass Effect. Oh yeah, my Origin account got hacked and stolen by some Russian dude. So that was cool. And then so that was a fun thing to come back to. it happened during PAX. Like, I saw the emails come in, and I was like, this is weird, but I couldn't really do anything about it.
You rused the wrong person at PAX, dude. There's a lot of people from overseas, and you pissed the wrong person off.
The best part
Germa just wanted to play SimCity, okay?
It was clearly some dude who may have, like, gotten it, like, somebody got it through the Origin exploit. So I have no keyloggers or anything. I checked everything like that, and nothing else is compromised. But, so I guess Origin had some sort of exploit in the software for a little bit that they updated while I was gone. And so this Russian guy ended up getting an account. He didn't do anything. He changed the gamer tag and the name. He played SimCity for like 8 hours. No. He played SimCity. He used my free game redemption thing from SimCity on Dead Space 3, which I was going to use it on anyway.
He's like, I bet this guy doesn't like Dead Space.
So I just basically went in, did the password change, just the normal password change, changed the password, because he got it through the exploit, so because he doesn't have access to my email. So I changed the password back, then contacted Origin support, who was actually super good. I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good troll.
I actually just don't believe you.
No,
Okay,
like,
see, bud.
yeah, they just like went through like tons of verification steps with me, and then they were like, "All right, now we'll change it back for you, and it's all yours."
One
and
night
the
I
software
wanted,
updated.
one
So
night I wanted to get Bulletstorm cheaper, so I went in the text support thing. I was like, "Hey, you want to give me like a 25% discount code?" And then they did, and I got Bulletstorm for like $10, and I was like, "Okay, sweet." That was it.
So, but so I got it back, and that was it. Like, I took the account back myself though first. I didn't even bother with Origin because I had the same thought that they weren't going to do shit. So I just did the password reset and took it back. Guy was online when I took it back. He was probably real rused.
Servers are down again. Damn it!
He was like, "Damn, that was a good hack."
That he actually went on and played SimCity. Like, he
that's
got
all
on
he
your
did.
account and he downloaded SimCity
Like,
and
all
then
of the
started
shit
playing it.
He could have done. He like all of the information he could have gotten from you. No, he just wanted to play SimCity. That's all he
I
wanted.
played for like 8 hours over the weekend too, and
Yeah, dude, you got his hacks worth, man.
I promptly went on.
And he
promptly
realized,
went on and
shit
deleted.
game, glad I didn't
And
pay for
promptly went
this.
on and deleted his whole region.
He was actually being nice. He was actually he went on your Twitter. He was like, "What does this guy want for his free game? Oh, Dead Space 3? Okay, I'll preload it for him."
That's essentially what happened. Yeah. So he didn't buy any other games or anything. So.
Whoa, this dude
Actually-
really fixed up my city's road systems.
He's actually just really technical, but he didn't know how else he would be able to get a trial of SimCity. So, he did that.
So he just took an account. Yeah.
There
So,
you go.
All right, guys, we're gonna move on to PAX, and more PAX. After 90 seconds of commercials, we will be right back.
Unless you're a subscriber. And you're
And then we'll still be here.
Subscribers
Inside
and
you.
anyone who's using AdBlock, we're
Like a
giving away
douche.
some League of Legends skins on Twitter. If you missed that earlier today, so
Let me go
you
get
can go
more
retweet
water.
that if you wanna. Those skins are pretty sweet too. And if you don't already own the champions, you just get the champions with skins. So that's nice.
Ooh. All right, maybe I won't give away my code I got because I ever play it.
Yeah, dude, you're a great guy.
I know.
I used mine only because I found out that it also gives you those champions if you don't
Yeah.
have them. So that's the only reason I used mine. But I only had the one.
I was gonna grab a whole bunch of those, but I never actually saw the table because there's so many people at that booth.
Yeah, because there was 1,000 people around it the whole time.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna lie, that booth was amazing. But I'm gonna save that for a thing. I shouldn't have said that. I just turned myself into Hex.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
God damn it!
I can
Bazinga.
handle I can handle
The
Hextech.
Zooper.
I can't handle both in one person. Please don't do it.
Well, when I'm inside of Nick Fenton, that's going to be a problem for you.
You want to hear a pretty zany story?
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
That was a pretty good story already. So.
Good joke. Good story, dude. Great job.
Yeah, man, snore more.
Oh, poor Bob.
Oh, yeah. You know what the
Funny
best...
thing,
best
Bob
part
came
was-
over to our room because Hex was snoring, and then Bob snorted up in our room.
And
Yeah.
I didn't snore at all that night.
No, he
Zero
actually
snores.
didn't.
Maybe,
I
maybe
slept right
Bob
next to him. I was
snoring
like,
and he
dang,
thought
what was Bob complaining about?
The old
Quality-
get
yeah.
Bob the fuck out of our room ruse.
Yeah, it was a quality ruse. Hex.
Oldest ruse in the
Bob
book.
was snoring so loud he thought someone else was snoring.
Yeah, I didn't actually snore all weekend. He just snored enough for both of us.
I just farted a lot
Yeah,
So-
on me.
on Nick Fenton.
Apparently, I farted all the way home in the car while I was unconscious from NyQuil.
Yeah, we
Traveling in a big group is the best way to find out which of your friends doesn't realize they have sleep apnea.
Yeah. We're pretty
Alright.
sure
Are
that
we alive?
Canine died
Yes,
4
we are.
times after his sleep.
Hey, are we
back.
alive? Hey, we living? Are we living large?
We are live.
Are
We are live
we
again.
live.
So, we are back.
Ooh!
And yes, we were all at PAX this weekend. Every single person on this call right now is at PAX. Everyone in KBMOD proper. Some of the web guys can make because they're up in Canada. Wadima and Ferez and
get
Slam
right.
Tarts is in Cali, so he didn't make it either. But
And
literally
APL.
everyone else except Scott, that is kind of like content producers. Was.
Content producers.
It's on my
That's what
business
it's-
card. It's a
That's what it
real
said.
thing. Shut
That's
your
what Machinima
mouth.
told me it is. That's what I use. So everyone was, but Scott was there. So that, R.I.P. Scott. But there was a lot to go. I'm gonna start with something that Brandon's gonna have to talk about because he was the only one who got to play it. But it looked, and I didn't really talk shit on this game. I just didn't think it was going to be very good up until this point. But Elder Scrolls Online.
Go.
Now, you got to play about 30 minutes of it. We talked a little bit about this on Sunday, but what do you think, man? What do you think of Elder Scrolls?
I think so. I said this when I was talking to you about it before, but I'm not going to go out of my out of school and say that it's going to be an amazing game because I really don't know. You can't gauge an MMO.
Yeah, 30
off
minutes.
Just a short time playing because basically you're just playing like a starter zone. And so the real quality test for an MMO is how it progresses, what the end game is like, and all of that. So having that disclaimer out of the way, the first parts that I got to play were really promising. The first thing is it looks really, really good. The graphics are excellent. I would say they rival Guild Wars 2, if not maybe better. And they have, I think the leveling systems and stuff will be interesting. They're pretty different than WoW, and so one of the main things that stuck out to me was you level different aspects of your character. So you have your class leveling, but you also level weapons and armor individually as you use them.
Okay.
So like if you only use two-handers, then
Is it like the old WoW system before they removed it?
Kind of, except that it has more. I think it's going to have more weight. The WoW system originally was just like becoming more proficient with the weapon, and that basically just meant hitting more and doing more damage. This actually like leveling, and you get different abilities based on the type of weapon that you love. So it seems like it's going to be. I think the thing is it'll allow you to have a lot more different play styles. Like if you're a sorcerer, which is their ranged class, kind of like their mage, and still level, like a close range weapon. And so you could be kind of a hybrid. I think there's going to be, at least they're kind of marketing it as there are going to be a lot of different play styles that you can go after. And so the beginning part looked really cool. I think they have some solid systems in place that I didn't get a whole lot of depth from the first 30 minutes, but everything they're saying and just the first part I played seems like it could be really good. And I don't know. The look of it is awesome. They already have the lore, like the whole Elder Scrolls universe. They have that, and I think that's one of the hardest parts is getting a universe that like you actually have enough content to make a good MMO story for.
Yes.
And so I think they're going to satisfy those people.
That's good.
and it doesn't. I think it sounds like at the first, at the start, they're only going to have heroics, like 5 or 10 man dungeons.
Okay.
I guess, but that's, I don't know. It's so hard to tell how fleshed out the end game is going to be, since at this stage in development, you expect them to be working on end game anyway.
Yeah, I would hope so, because as you said on the floor, 3 months is really the beginning content that matters. After 3 months, the whole game is end game, and you just need to focus on that. So.
Yeah, one cool thing too is there are 3 alliances, and they said that once you hit level 50, which is their level cap, that you'll be able to go back and play the other alliances content and it'll be scaled up to your level. So you can play the other 2 alliances stories, but it's not like you're just going to be rolling over, the early game content, because it's going to scale to your level. So actually playing through all of the full storylines will probably be beneficial and something you'll want to do.
Mm-hmm. So Elder Scrolls: The Line, I don't know if it was press only at the show, but the line was long if it wasn't. Because it was playable at the show, unlike, and I want to talk about this real quick, and as a caveat to those people going to PAXs in the future, because I hadn't really seen this as a thing at East 2012 and Prime 2012. There were like 3 or 4 big titles there on the show floor with lines to get in, and they were only showing videos. And Watch Dogs was one of them. I know a lot of people requested us to play Watch Dogs. I was actually mentally prepared to sit in a line for that, because that's how much I want to do it.
No way.
And then I heard that it was just some footage. Gold Glove, if you know who Gold Glove is, he had a media pass. He got in, saw the video. Brandon saw the video. I believe you guys went in.
Hal did too, yeah. Hal told me, Watch Dogs looks amazing, but there's nothing you can play.
It's just a video, man.
It was cool, but I would not have waited in line for it.
No.
If I
large monitors,
line for some of that
hard
stuff,
to get.
It was a 3-hour wait to watch a movie about a game I wanted to play. I would be so angry.
Oh, there were people. When we were on the last day, within the last 20 minutes, Nick and I think Kate and I got in line to play Metro Last Light, not realizing how much time we had left before we were leaving. But people came out of Saints Row 4 was another one that was only...
the thing is, for Assassin's Creed 4, Saints Row 4, and Watch Dogs, those are all open world games. I can kind of understand why you would want to do a demo thing where
Borderlands
they
2
show
was
you
playable
what they...
last year.
Well, that also,
you can kind of go wherever.
But for a Borderlands kind.
Well, the thing was, at least with Watch Dogs, the first part they had like an interview, or not an interview, but it was I think the executive producer of the game talking to you and kind of explaining his vision, which that's cool. Yeah. But then they said they were going to show gameplay footage, but the gameplay footage wasn't true gameplay footage, as in I'm playing an alpha build of the game and I'm just taking screen caps of what I'm doing. It was actually like a trailer, and there was just some gameplay footage sort of interspersed in the trailer, but it was still very marketing-like. So I was not especially taken with the footage that I saw. It was not a whole lot different than what we'd already seen.
And Saints Row 4 not being playable is actually the worst of them all, I think, because that game's coming out sooner than the other games.
And it's just Saints Row 3.
And it's this gen too, so it's not like it was like
when's Saints Row 4 coming out?
August. So it's coming out before that
should have been available
and whatever Durango is going to be. So it's not like with Watch Dogs, we know that's being devved on a PC, so they could have had PCs to play on if they had some sort of demo run through to play through. Obviously, the PS4 version, you don't want to bring a bunch of PS4s at this point.
Right.
I understand that, but I don't know. It was just, I was a little rused by that, but I
think if you're showing video at PAX, this is just my personal opinion, but if you're showing video, you shouldn't make it look like people are going in to play a game, because they had an enclosed area, and from the outside it looked like people were playing the game until you open the door and you just see that it's a video screen inside. There's no reason they couldn't have just had a booth that had a large TV on loop with that video stuff. So
well, and that's what Elder Scrolls did. They had like a booth, and they had that gigantic screen that just looped kind of the intro trailer. That would have been fine.
And they, by the way, the intro trailer, I don't know if that's a trailer that's online. It probably is at this point. If it wasn't, that shit was epic.
Oh yeah, amazing. I have no interest in it as
incredible.
a game, but I just want to watch that trailer all day.
Yeah. So that was really cool. And now I'm just going to kind of go around. We'll talk about things that we kind of had good impressions of, or stuff that caught your eye. And I'll start out because this is a game that we posted on, and I really, really liked it. And I'm going to start with the Swapper. And the Swapper is like a 4-man dev team, I think. 3 dudes from Finland, and the writer, who is a British guy, Tom Joubert, but he wrote the FTL, and he wrote Penumbra, which, if you guys haven't played Penumbra, that was the game that was before Amnesia by the same guys, and he wrote the Penumbra games. So it was a very cool game. It's a puzzler, and it's very beautiful to look at, but it is just, it's 2D. It's kind of like Limbo. Well, I don't even know if Limbo is the right game I want to reference there, but you can basically, the whole mechanic is learned within about the first 10 minutes of the game. And what you do is you have a gun that can make 4 clones of yourself, and the clones mimic your movements exactly, but you can project them like in other parts of the screen, and you can also swap places with the clone. So
rip off Zelda more.
So K9 in the chat just now, it's like a 2D portal. That's a decent way to put it. You can't like really go through walls with it, but there's a lot of like putting the clones on switches to open doors so you can walk through the door. Also, there's big drops where you have to swap places with yourself like multiple times in the air. So there's a little bit of dexterity required there, more than just, looking at a puzzle. But
it felt kind of like Braid, like a little bit of Braid and Portal combined.
Yeah, I could see that. I can see the puzzles in that game just getting to stupid levels. There were even a couple I got stuck on in the demo, but not for super long amounts of time. It's just you have to think in portals in this game. You have to think in clones and swapping. You have to like get into the mindset of what the game is, but there's a pretty cool backstory. Even the writer said the story is very minimal, but it felt like it was really, really added a lot to the game for me. The demo was decently long, 20 or 30 minutes, if you played the whole thing. So that was one that caught my eye. And then, of course, I don't know if everyone here played, but I know Brandon played it, and I played it. I don't know if anyone else did, but Rise of the Triad was playable, and if you like Unreal Tournament, you'll like this.
I wanted to play that, did not get a chance.
It's so fast.
Yeah, I watched somebody play it super fast.
It was kind of like nestled in the EVGA booth, and so it wasn't really, they didn't even have a sign or anything above it. It was just like kind of there, showing off some, whatever, that custom PC maker that was there as well. But Brandon played it, I believe. Did you win a shirt, Brandon?
I did. Yeah. Let it be known that I wrecked John in Rise of the Triad, 14-3.
Damn.
Not a problem.
Don't feel too great about that, because by the last day when I was there, anybody that played the game got a shirt. So,
but
right, well, that's not the point. It's not the point that the casuals were all.
All right. Well, you
Sunday.
wrecked John, and that's fine.
Well,
don't
get if you push it too far, John will get incredible at that game just to beat you later.
But actually, he is calling the people right now and saying, "Give me the game."
I have a question about Rise of the Triad. I can see that it's indie and retro, but is it pixelated and a side scroller with RPG elements?
No.
Yes.
No, it misses all 3 of those. I was only disappointed because it was only the multiplayer part, and I really only care about single player in this game, because I want it to be just as insane as the old game. But if you are into Unreal Tournament, or were into Unreal Tournament, or Quake even, I think you'll like this game. It'll need polish, but there's like it's set up the same way, right? Really fast movement.
Oh
there's
my,
like
yeah.
Jump pads, and there's like rocket launcher spawns here, and then armor spawns and that kind of thing. So if you're into that, I think you're gonna like it. This is pretty early. I don't think the game comes out for a good 6 months, but I'm not totally sure on a release date. But they didn't have anyone with the game there. It was just people from that booth who just knew how to run that demo server, and that was it. So we didn't really get to talk to anybody, but I'm pretty pumped.
Yeah, it looks pretty cool. The blood and stuff is all kind of over the top.
Yes.
And I actually kind of agree with you that I think the single player might actually be the more interesting part of that, because I feel like the multiplayer, at least the deathmatch stuff that we played, I think as much as I thought it was it was fun, I think it could get old after a while, unless they're going to have more game modes and kind of more variety. Just the deathmatch stuff, it's kind of fun to play with friends, but I don't know that it'll be a long-term thing. And I would love to see, like, I hope they have some modding ability. Like, I think that's a game that would be fun single player, and then fun to see what people do with it.
Yeah, for sure. So that was me, and now we'll move on to Chezz. Did you see anything that caught your eye there?
So,
Smite.
when I go to PAX, a majority of it isn't to actually try to wait in lines and shit like that. It's mainly to kind of talk to the actual people who either made the game or know about the game, or just pretty much to meet all of the KBMOD pros. But Swapper, I actually took the time. There wasn't a big line, which was great. I don't like puzzle games. I find Portal hard because I'm stupid as shit. I'm all just good looks, obviously, as you guys can tell here. But I played the entire 20-minute demo on Swapper, and I was like, this is amazing. It might be a side-scroller, and Nick's already mad, but at the same time, it had like a lot of different elements. That game, I'm actually looking forward to, and I seriously never, ever like puzzle games at all. But that's like the gem for me that popped out, that I'm happy I like took the time to... it caught my eye. I glanced at it. I'm like, you know what? I am going to play this game because I want to, I'm not going to, instead of just walking past it like I do with a lot of the other ones. But that was kind of the gem for me. Other than that, I mean, but that's pretty much, that's as far as a highlight that really stands out.
You got back into Smite. You're into Smite now.
Well, I did. I spent a good amount of time when Bart was casting that, and they were doing that big tournament. And
Checkmate,
I was like,
atheists.
It was at that moment that even you guys know, I asked you guys, like, hey, I'm gonna give MOBAs or Dotas or whatever a try for 30 days. Whatever, because Brandon, aren't you the one that said LOL made up?
No, that was me. That was me.
That was you? Okay, so that was just a long conversation that I didn't want to fucking have, and you had it anyways. But anyways, I said I'm going to give it a try for 30 days just to see, because, I mean, there's a ton of KBMOD people who play these games, and, Brandon plays a lot of LOL and loves it, shit like that, but I don't think I've ever given it a fair chance. Last time I played Smite after, even just watching the game being cast by Bart, and just standing over some people's shoulders watching them play, I was already more prepared coming back from this trip and playing it for like 4 hours yesterday, that I actually feel a lot more comfortable with the game. Like I don't have auto buy and all this shit on like I used to, where I was essentially just playing a third person, click and use WASD. So
yeah, Smite's a good gateway drug because it is WASD third person. It's nice.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Chezz was getting hate on Twitter because everybody was saying League of Legends, but I mean, I asked him, I was like, do you have any experience playing like strategy games, RTS, that kind of stuff, like top down? And he was like 0. So I mean,
yeah, if you're coming from
let's ease you in. Yeah,
Call of Duty is pretty strategic.
Call of Duty is a real strategy game.
Well, I was Master League, so just please back off.
Yeah, if you have a shooter background, Smite is for sure.
That's probably because just the WASD element is something like familiar.
Well, and there's just general aiming with the mouse.
Yeah, there's a lot of skill shots.
Yeah. It's like all skill shots. That's what I love about it. It's also kind of good at easing you into the whole format because of the auto leveling, the auto buy, which more experienced players can turn off. But if you don't want to have to worry about that and just learn the mechanics of the game and worry about that later, you can just keep that on for beginner matches.
So
yeah, and today at work, I was watching just the because the Smite channel is streaming 24 hours.
Yes.
All day, every day, you can just go on there and watch someone play Smite. So today, when it was downtime at work and like during my lunch, I was watching a bunch of Chixie or something play with a bunch of different gods, and I was like, fuck, now I got to get a hold of Bart and have him give me some free shit. But we'll see about that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to giving it a try for a month. And obviously Nick is a huge Dota fan, and I read a little bit. I forgot what it was from a forum or something. It was like an intro to people who know nothing about Dota. That game is so fucking in depth. I'm glad I didn't even try to start
it's definitely the most complicated.
I think I'm coming up on 200 hours on Dota, and I don't know like shit about the game. So
yeah. So like I'm there's no way I was going to. Some people are like, yeah, just grind it out. You're gonna have a shitty time, and I'm like, yeah. There's one thing to have a shitty time. There's one thing to just be flat out overwhelmed for days on end. So
yeah,
I think it's a choice.
Hit me on next time you play.
We got to interview Todd Harris, COO of High Res.
What a bro!
Actually asked him about the streaming thing, because it has occurred to me like there is no developer that has that amount of presence on Twitch. Now, granted, big events like Capcom will do 20th anniversary Street Fighter tournament and stream it on the Capcom channel, and like occasionally devs will have like, hey, look at my game streams like for an hour and a half, and then that's it. Fucking Smite is on 24 hours a day on a channel run by them, and they let community members stream on it. And he basically said, yes, we saw an opportunity to do this. And I asked him, like, why don't you think why not let people do this? There is a lot of trust involved with letting community members take over your channel. I mean, that is for sure, for a little bit. But Hi-Rez is kind of in that middle-sized developer. But running a channel essentially doesn't take any resources unless you want it to, I guess. So it's kind of confusing. And he said he feels like them streaming has gotten a lot of people into it, because they see this game in the top 10 all the time now.
All the time.
And they know that this channel, they can go and watch it and learn and get better by watching it and that kind of thing. So, but he said he's not totally sure why other devs haven't taken the opportunity to do that. Not all games are suited for it, for sure.
Yeah, not all games are suited for it, for sure. But I remember when they started doing that for this game, and they'd have a few hundred viewers, and that was cool. And I think at one point I actually said, I'm like, this will probably plateau at some point. And now I looked back, I watched the channel. There's multiple thousand people watching, and just a community member play the game, and it flat out grew like that. Yep. And it's just, I think it's great. You hit it on the head that it's on the top 10. People are going to click on it, be like, what the shit is this game? They click on it, they see it, and then they're like, oh, you want to play? Here, go make an account. We're giving out free stuff in 30 minutes. Like, it's great. I wish Garrettson would have did it and hired me to do that.
A little exclusive note on
world exclusive
Smite.
from KBMOD.com.
Todd also let us know that, like PlanetSide 2 and Black Ops 2 and a few other games, they are going to be integrating direct Twitch streaming into Smite. So they're going to build that presence from wherever they can. That's not really super public knowledge. But you just heard it here first. So there you go. We will be doing a little post, a little wrap-up of that interview. It was near impossible for us to record proper audio on the show floor there, especially during the time when we had that interview. So
no, it was impossible.
Yeah. Like, during that interview, the Smite tournament was on as well, so the shoutcasting in the Twitch booth was over everything. But Blacklight took some notes, and we'll be posting on that as well.
They need to integrate it into Tribes.
They do need to integrate it
into
they do.
Tribes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be great.
But we also asked him about Tribes, and he pretty much said that base has gone up since the game of the year, so if you still play Tribes, more people have started playing.
Yeah, they feel positive about that game, which is good.
Yeah, they just think it's too hard. He said it's too hard. He actually said that. He was like, it's basically a hardcore game. Like, if you're going to play Tribes, you're not going to play at a novice level.
I did think it was a bad sign when we asked about Tribes and he reflexively spit on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I can see that as a problem. He also mildly threw up.
Yeah, it looked like he swallowed some vomit.
Yeah.
Speaking of MOBAs, I played Dungeon Defenders 2 at PAX.
So Nick
I
is
thought
up.
you were miming like jerking off a bunch of dudes around
Nick
you.
Fenton.
Yeah.
Nick Fenton up next. So he's got a few different games.
I played Dungeon Defenders 2. It's basically like Smite, but you can't move the camera up and down, which was super annoying. But it's like Smite. It's more like even more casual, I guess. Well, Smite's not like super casual, but it's
accessibility.
The map is basically the Dota map, but cartoony and like with
Is it a side scroller? 2D?
No, it's not 2D side scrolling pixelated.
They have that. It's called League of Legends.
I don't care.
Yeah. But it's like really dumbed down, but it's still fun. I just shit on kids. I went like 14-0. I was also sitting
amount
next.
of money you would have to pay me to play another Dungeon Defenders game at this point is more than the national.
I will buy Dungeon Defenders 2 when it comes.
But
out.
You don't have to because it's free to play.
Well, there you go. Never mind.
Don't worry because there's the cooperative mode is still in
Yes,
there, and
that's
apparently
what I wanna
like
play.
everything is being cross-platform from what I was hearing.
Oh,
from
yeah.
the guy. Like you can play on your iPhone and play with people on PC and with people playing on like Android and
That's
all that
pretty
stuff.
cool, actually.
I guess now that it's announced,
Which is that way it makes sense.
They talked to me about this when I played in the Mac beta like last year about it's free to play and da da da. It's literally going to be like the same exact game, but you don't have to pay for it, and it's going to be a MOBA. Like I played so many hours of this game.
Wow, John, that sounds terrible.
It does sound terrible. If I
I love
game and you don't have to pay for it. That
Smite.
sucks, man.
I love Dungeon Defenders. So I'm pumped for 2. I didn't get to play it. I guess you got in there with Nanners and
yeah, and I was sitting right next to Nanners, and he had never played any kind of MOBA, and he was getting so mad. He was not having, and every time I would come and be like, "Hey, I just killed you," and he just gave me this look of just like, "I want to leave."
I just don't know why they didn't. I get that they have this new mode, but like, and I know that people know what Dungeon Defenders is, like it's tower defense, but. Why? It's the new version of it. Why not let us play some tower defense? Like,
isn't there still a tower defense mode in it?
Yes.
Yeah. That's not what I'm saying. Yeah, there is.
Yeah. Well,
that
here's
mode,
the thing.
They're probably like, "Hey, MOBAs are real popular."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see
That's
that.
exactly what it is.
Like they're like, we're not gonna show off the same mode that was in the last game. We need to show the new mode, and that mode is a MOBA, and MOBAs are fucking popular, so we're gonna do that. That's. I think it makes sense.
It definitely makes sense.
It's not the most accessible thing to show off. It's still, I thought it was accessible because I played other MOBAs, but
right.
I'm just so burnt out on that franchise after like over 100 hours.
Oh, that's because you played it a bunch.
Be fun.
It's gonna be good, I think.
I mean, I'm sure it'll be fine, but I've just I know about their devs.
Yeah, sounds like you really don't like it at all.
No, I really genuinely loved the first one, but I know how they treat the people that beta test their games, so
I'll still get it. Anything else?
Speaking of being underwhelmed, Blizzard announced a game.
Oh yes.
Oh,
there you go. Maybe not.
All right.
Maybe not underwhelmed. Maybe not underwhelmed.
Did they?
Like,
yeah. Brandon's like, did they announce a game? Did they really?
Like, after the PS4 thing where they were like, we have a big announcement to make. It's Diablo on consoles, and then they were like, we have a big thing to announce at PAX East. It's a card game.
It's the WoW card game. In game.
They already have one of those.
Format.
I just want to point that out.
Isn't the WoW game physical cards though?
It is physical cards. It's also not fun.
I'm sure there's probably obviously there is some market for digital card games.
I like them.
I just think that I mean
I like
and I'm not
so.
I'm sure there are going to be people that like those, but when Blizzard comes out and says we have this new exciting awesome thing to show off,
I know.
And all the video game press reports on it, people have certain expectations. My expectation is not, this kind of small side project thing. Yeah. I mean,
it's literally just an iPad, iOS, Android, probably Facebook game.
It's on PC as well.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. So Jenkins and I were walking around the day that we did the indie dev stuff, and we saw this booth, and I was like, "What do you even think of this?" Because I wanted to I was so psyched. Like, I almost got up and went super early to their announcement panel for this, and I was like, "Woo, this is gonna be great! I can't wait to see more stuff." And I was like, "Hey, look, that was like it's an iPad game."
Hey,
man. I feel smart not being excited for anything Blizzard has to say anymore.
However,
But there's Heart of the Swarm. Heart of the Swarm is really good. I played it at the NVIDIA booth. It's fun if you're a StarCraft fan, and it builds on that franchise, and it still does really well. But then it's like, hey, new IP. I can't wait to tell you about this brand new game no one's ever heard about before. I'm Blizzard Entertainment. No, you're Activision's bitch.
I don't think that was really part of it.
Shots fired.
Shots fired, Blizzard.
Let me
go
come
back
clean.
to 1994.
Let me come clean on this and
game.
say that Hex and I both said we will get this game and we will play it because the boosters are only $1.
And I'm still gonna play it.
So
I feel honestly, I watched
I'm gonna play it.
Character Francis on YouTube talk about Hearthstone, and he was like, "I don't want to play this. I want to. Where's Warcraft 4? Where's the next?
Yeah, where is Warcraft 4?
I want those games." And at the end, he was like,
Nobody wants that.
"You know what?
I kind of do.
It's
I want Warcraft 4 real bad."
They're only $1 for the boosters, and I have an iPad, so I'm probably gonna play it anyway.
Honestly, if people say it's fun, if I'm getting feedback that it's fun, I might play it because certain card-based games are fun.
I like Magic on the PC for sure.
It's just like Blizzard has whipped me into submission. They just know that like I don't. It doesn't matter. You can announce tomorrow it's Warcraft Hello Kitty Roller Coaster Rescue 2, and I would just bend over and take it in the noose.
I'm all for card games. Just like I said, I've played Blizzard's. I've played the World of Warcraft card game, the one that's out already, not the one they just announced. And it's not fun. It's not a good, well-designed game in my opinion. So I'm not really all that excited for it. But if it ends up being, I have no problem with card games. Like digital card games are fine as long as they're done well. It's just an underwhelming thing for them to announce.
Magic needs to. They announced Magic 2014, by the way, during PAX, but and I will probably buy it.
Didn't even notice.
Blizzard killed my inner child.
And then we'll never play it again.
But I don't know why the Magic dudes, and I get why they don't though. But I also don't know. Just make a full-on digital version of the card game.
They do. They have
no,
one.
you can't make decks in those games.
No, not Duels of the Planewalkers. They actually have Magic Online.
Really?
Yeah. Did you not know this?
No,
yeah.
I did not know that.
It's been around forever.
No.
It was around since before that was a popular
because I
thing.
figured they wouldn't do that because you want to make people like buy the physical cards still.
It's just MTGO.
Man.
Well, I think.
Well,
Blizzard.
Now I'm gonna go get it.
Releasing a card game at PAX is probably the right thing because you have people who video games and kind of the card-based games. I just thought that leading up to that announcement, obviously they were hyping it out of Blizzard HQ, and I feel like it would have maybe been more impactful for them to just not say much about it, and then it be kind of the hidden gem, and like it could have been sort of the hidden story of PAX.
Yeah, it could have been. They could have blown the doors off something. Well, when they did this, when they said they were going to have this big announcement, I said on the podcast, like, Blizzard doesn't... The reason I thought this was a huge thing was that Blizzard doesn't normally announce anything. And I was actually wrong in the opposite way. It was such a small thing that they just didn't wait for BlizzCon, because why would you wait for this? Whereas I thought it was like, holy shit, they can't wait to get this out here, so they're...
And yet they went so huge with it, and everybody just like, eh.
They didn't really go huge with it. There weren't that many stations.
It was a pretty big display.
They had
half of that was
They had
D3.
a way bigger booth than someplace like Machinima.
Well, they also have billions of dollars. Like,
that's
why
true.
I
think it would have been smarter for them to situate it closer to the tabletop gaming area.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it should have been closer to that.
But to be fair, the whole like gaming meets like the whole in between of gaming and tabletop was basically all the mega indie booths. So
a great point by Darkwing02, who we met at PAX East.
Yes,
Josh,
we did.
Great dude.
Sure.
If they had announced this at BlizzCon, I think that tables would be flipped. I would agree with you. It was too small. If that was like a centerpiece at BlizzCon, oh man, that would not have gone over well. Now Brandon just went robot for a second. He's good most of the time. Anyway.
Most of
I love card games.
So, moving on to Blacklightattack, because I know what game he's going to talk about, but I want to hear.
I don't have any games to talk about.
No, tell me more about the game. Was there a game that you liked, Nick?
Was there a
I don't
game?
know.
You and Sean seem to have
Was there a
liked the
game that you insisted that I A, talked to their developers, B, got their poster, and then C, chastised me for not playing the game?
Super nice guys, by the way.
They were, but they were also mortified when you took me over to their booth and said, it's like if you took Mega Man, Castlevania, and another game, and it gives me an enormous boner. And when I told her to say, "Hey, I'm John from KBMOD. Could you tell me about my game?" She looked at me and went, "Well, apparently it gives people boners."
Yeah, she kind of overheard that bit, didn't she?
So, what is the game?
The game is called Shovel Knight, okay? And I actually had just discovered this game, and anybody who follows me on Twitter has seen me like ranting about it for the past week already. I had only found out about it like just before PAX. It's been around only a little bit longer than that anyway, but it's basically, you know, it's, as Nick has been talking about, it's a pixelated throwback. It's an 8-bit style. It's like an 8-bit plus kind of game. They originally started off just developing for PC. Right before PAX, they actually announced that they had gotten backing from Nintendo and would now be developing as well for 3DS and the Wii U. It's still in its Kickstarter right now. Last I checked, they had about $55,000 out of the $75,000 that they were asking for, with still like 19 days left to go. So they're definitely going to make it. But I think they're also currently on Steam Greenlight, but they're not even going to need it now that they're with Nintendo, because apparently Steam, we were told by another developer, if you have backing from Nintendo, that Steam will actually take that into consideration and may just let you bypass the Greenlight process. But it does play like a, basically the game was built around an attack similar to the sword drop from Zelda 2. Or if you haven't played Zelda 2, like a majority of people, if anybody who's ever played Super Smash Brothers, the Link's sword drop is like air down A. It's basically built around that attack, and they decided, well, if we're gonna have this attack be, you know, the main focus of the game, then why don't we kind of give that a couple of different, you know, utilities as well, and give him a shovel instead of a sword. So basically the entire game is built around this shovel that is your character's main weapon. And that was like the first thing that really mainly drew me to it. Was a silly concept. It's an armored knight. He kind of looks like a Dark Knight from Zelda, holding a shovel, and it was just, it's silly, it's novel. But I went and looked at the Kickstarter page and saw the trailer, and it looked amazing. It looks like, it reminds me very much of a blend of either Castlevania 1 or 3 and one of the old, like, original 5 Mega Man games on the NES. The controls are super tight. It's really built on, like, toenail jumps, like Castlevania was. Yeah, apparently I'm leaving. The reason everybody's leaving is because they've heard all this a million times from me over the weekend.
I haven't heard anything about Shovel Knight yet.
No, I zoned out as soon as you said the word Shovel Knight, because you told me literally 5 times about that game.
Everybody's heard this so many times.
I got the PAX box, so...
basically it plays like a combination of Castlevania, Zelda 2. They actually said that Dark Souls played a little bit.
Bros, it's DuckTales, all right?
Woo!
DuckTales, it plays like the old DuckTales, Mega Man. And it's also similar to Mega Man in that it has a bunch of very like theme-driven bosses, which is really cool. They were showing off a level involving the boss King Knight, who is not actually a king, as the developer put it, but rather...
How can you be a king and a knight? This is some bullshit.
He's a knight that is king-themed, like a knight that thinks he is a king. So he was a fun boss battle. There's also Polar Knight, who, as they describe it, is the Sabretooth to Shovel Knight's Wolverine, so instead carries a giant snow shovel, which is also hilarious. And please just go check out the Kickstarter page. Just go to Kickstarter and just search Shovel Knight.
I will link the Shovel Knight to Mordor.
Yes, go ahead and put that in the chat.
I'll link back this
game.
game.
Too.
Nick was so disappointed in me when we walked up to the booth, and I stood there for about 10 minutes watching someone else, and I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I saw what it is. And
yeah,
he didn't say anything initially, but I could tell he's like,
oh no.
He was miffed.
When we both went and talked to the devs, he was like, he literally told the dev, I will try and talk him into coming back tomorrow to play the game. And I was like, oh boy, I'm not coming back tomorrow. Yeah, you literally were like, no, it's cool. I played the game yesterday, and I think you should really play it, and I will try to talk him into coming back tomorrow to play the game. And I was like, I have so many things to do this weekend, and I'm really hungover right now.
Slender Cthulhu in chat is pointing out, listen to the music, it's too strong. Seriously, go to the Kickstarter page and scroll down to where there's a sample of music. That's the music for a level called Pridemore Keep, which was the level they were showing off at PAX. It is some of the most amazing, like, throwback 8-bit music ever. It's a little embellished, so it's not exactly 8-bit, but it's you know, it's like 8-bit enhanced. It's just such an infectious, catchy tune. It's very, very, very Mega Man, very classic Mega Man. in that.
So Shuval Newts.
Shuval Newts.
Double Knight.
Give
and,
me all your Shuval Newts.
And the other big thing I wanted to play was Transistor, which is the new game coming from Supergiant Games, the guys who made Bastion. Because Bastion was honestly my favorite game of 2011. Just honestly such an amazing, brilliant game from start to finish. The line was never less than 2 hours.
Yep.
During
the second day, 3 hours.
Yeah. During the very least busy parts of Transistor, during the most down times they had, it was 2 hours at the bare minimum. Most of the time, it was 3 to 3.5 hours.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
Also, Blacklight, what a fucking monster! Because the last day of the con, we really wanted to talk to Supergiant. We didn't have an appointment. We did not have a contact with them. So Nick and I are walking around, and we're like, let's just try. So we kind of snuck into the middle of the booth with our cards from KBMOD out, and one of the co-founders was like, hey, can I help you guys? And just out of nowhere, Nick was like, yeah, hi, we're so-and-so from KBMOD. Can you please talk to us? And he was like, do you have an appointment?
And Nick just are the biggest thing at this show.
Immediately, the co-founder was like, yeah, we don't have an appointment. And but Nick was like, can you just give us 5 minutes of your time? And he was like, yeah, okay. And I asked a question, and the dude immediately shut me down, and Nick never missed a beat and just did the entire interview by himself. Just... What a fucking pro.
Yeah, this game, it looks really good. We have a narrator again, and I believe it is your sword itself that talks.
Something like that.
Yeah.
There's a really interesting combat system where you can pause the action and then sort of astral project yourself into what you're going to be doing. Now, I really wish that I had played this so that I could witness it firsthand.
I don't even think the Twitch guys got to play it off.
Ain't nobody got time for that. So... Basically, you astral project like a sort of shadow of yourself to plan out your attacks, and then the character will execute them very quickly. And it seems to be very much like Bastion in that there are enemy. There are very distinct enemies that sort of have like relations to each other. Sort of like there were the squirts and the what were they called? The gas bags, I think they were in Bastion. Sort of like the very related enemies. There's like big and small versions of a lot of enemies. They all have very distinct names and stuff like that. And as you said, there was once again a narrator. I do not know if it's the same voice actor as Rux, but it definitely didn't sound like the same voice.
It's not the same at all.
Yeah. So
they probably did that on purpose, to be honest.
Probably. Like, I mean, you can't just keep milking the same cow.
You just be like, hey, let's bring Rux back for this totally new world. Like,
I would honestly actually be perfectly okay with that.
Yeah,
I would be okay with it for at least one more game, but I think that sets a bad trend. And
I like that they're sticking with isometric because that's what they know, but that it's a completely different IP. They're clearly not trying to play off of Bastion's success or like ride that with this game. This is a completely separate thing.
And I absolutely respect that about them because they totally could have and probably sold a fuckload of copies again.
They could have just made Bastion too, yeah.
Well, that was the first. That was honestly one of the first things that Nick asked was how is this at all related to the Bastion universe, and it's totally separate.
I did wonder because it's isometric and kind of has the same art style, just in a cyberpunk setting. I kind of wondered if it was just Bastion, the world of Bastion thrust into the future kind of thing, like the world of Bastion, like 1,500 years in the future. Something like that, but they did say it's totally unrelated as an IP.
By the way, it is. We have confirmation from Darkwing in the chat. It is the same voice actor. That's right.
He was at the booth. I could have met him.
Darkwing,
giving him a hand job.
What a bro, Darkwing, who we kidnapped basically all weekend and made him hang out with us against his will. I had to tie him down and carry him on my back.
So that game was probably, and if you looked at Twitter and just like social media and the buzz between other developers and stuff, I would say besides, as I said at the beginning of this, or maybe it was before the cast, but besides Elder Scrolls Online, probably the biggest thing at PAX East was Transistor. More than any of the AAA stuff. Just
and I don't remember if I said this at the beginning of the podcast or during the pre-show, but it was kind of an interesting dynamic shift this year because there were so few like AAA things being announced that there was a huge focus on indie. The indie booths were just packed with people. Like in previous PAXs that I've been to, previous PAX Easts that I've gone to, you could basically walk up and just play almost any indie game. I mean, Bastion was there in 2011, before anybody knew what it was, and you honestly could maybe they had one monitor. You maybe had to wait for 1 or 2 more people to finish, et cetera, et cetera. You know, there were just very few people that would go to indie, and you know, you could probably walk up and get playing the game within like 10 minutes. This year, you had at least like a 20-minute wait for almost every indie game, and of course there was the absolutely ridiculous line for Transistor, which I sadly
probably the longest line there, I would say, besides Elder Scrolls, was Transistor.
Oh yeah,
I'd agree with that. It was pretty damn long.
And despite feeling very, very crestfallen, not having gotten to play it at all, I'm still super excited for it, and I really can't wait to get my hands on it.
Another game that I wanted to get my hands on was Remember Me, so I can't really comment much on it, but that had a 2.5, 3 hour line the whole time. But that was playable.
I didn't think that was going to be as big as it was, because, like, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like...
That game, for those who don't know, is going to be like a... it's Capcom is behind it, but there's another developer doing Capcom's publishing it. But it's very Devil May Cry style as far as like fighting and trying to, you know, fight your ways, hack and slash.
It looked good. It looked really good.
But the mechanic in that game is you can screw around with your opponent's memories in the game, so you can try to like bypass guards stealthily that way. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Someone in the chat just asked about Dark Souls 2. Nothing for that. A couple other games I want to highlight real quick because we are dragging a little bit. But Wildstar had a huge booth, replacing the Firefall booth for most random large booth on the floor.
Random
really
space-themed MMO booth.
Yes, random space-themed
that
MMO
needed to be
booth.
filled. We could go a year without it.
And Firefall is still putting way too much money into marketing when they should be taking that money and putting it into making a better game.
I don't know what you're talking about. I feel like I need an enormous drill that humps the ground every 12 minutes.
Put their money into something that's goddamn quieter, and it doesn't sound like a bomb's going off every 5 minutes.
At this point, like actually, after I actually played Firefall, I now wish that they had spent that money just like fucking doing literally anything else. Like their presence offends me now.
Oh, absolutely. Well,
that
the last
statue
day
made
we were
me
there,
uninstall.
That last day we were there, Roctopotamus and I went stand in line to meet MC Frenalot, and as we were standing there, the stupid fucking booth, or not even a booth, it was like a monument they had set up in the front.
Thing. Yeah,
it was literally like the drill thing from the game.
There weren't any Firefall staff even.
Yeah, they gave up.
No.
They were like, we've been here already. You know we exist. Let's just put this here and leave.
We're just going to leave this giant masturbatory statue to our shit game and leave.
We're standing in line to meet this guy, and the statue goes off, and even the musicians that were there like, shut the fuck up! I'm so tired of hearing about this. So angry.
Moving on, I did not get to play Daylight.
I did.
I think Mark did.
I loved it. It was so good.
This was the only game I played, so I call this game to talk about.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. This game, this is what I think PC games should have looked like 2 or 3 years ago.
I agree.
It looked amazing. I don't know why it's taken this long for games to look
Unreal
this good.
4, man. It's a whole new engine.
I know. But I think Unreal 4 is long overdue, personally, but that's me.
You know.
No, Dan, it should have been here.
You know what? We had a couple Gears of War games to make. We were busy, all right?
All right, whatever.
It was important,
all I'm saying is, like, I remember when Skyrim came out and everyone's talking about how good it looked. And I was like, it looks good, but I'm not impressed. This game, I'm actually, for the first time, like, wow, this looks amazing.
The lighting is unbelievable.
The lighting in it is so good.
Yep.
So, and I didn't get as scared as Hex did, but it was...
I jumped many times.
Yeah, Hex got a new scared out of him, but...
I did,
it's
and
prolapsed it from fear.
It just fell right out of me. Mark picked it up, shoved it back in.
I didn't play because you had to put on headphones to get the full experience, and there was nowhere on the booth for me to place my hat.
You know what, the headphones,
I will say this. From seeing the setup of Daylight, if you have a horror game, you need to set it up how the guys from Outlast set it up. We reported on Outlast a while ago, probably about the same time we heard about Daylight, I believe. Might have been even the same post. But Outlast is another horror game. It's where you play a journalist, and they had it there on the floor. And they had that booth set up, another horror game. They had it set up so the PCs were in 2 booths with like a curtain in front of them, and they were like enclosed, and so you had your headphones on and you were in the dark. and so you could hear people from inside the booths at Outlast screaming, and people were coming out like, holy shit, holy shit. And they had like one screen outside, but that is the way that they didn't really have a choice in the matter. Zombie, they were partnering with Astro to show the game, but like,
oh yeah, and it sounded.
But if you're
good
gonna do a horror game at PAX, do it like that.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: even as an audio snob, like the Astro A50s, they made it sound good, and there were a lot of parts of it that the audio. If you're gonna play that game when it comes out, you got to have headphones or a good headset, because that ambience that it creates. It's essential to playing the game, and that's why I jumped. Like, it was not like a dark room you were hidden in and scary.
Will my Beats by Dre suffice?
No, kill yourself.
Actually, they probably would do good because they have so much low end. It'd rattle
that's
your
true.
ears
Actually,
so,
for that game,
nerds.
Yeah.
If you actually own those, I find that scarier than anything the game can do.
But so Daylight, yeah, it was at the Astro booth. Looked like it had a pretty good amount of people coming up to try it.
I saw Tino's break it.
Tino's broke the game.
Nice.
Yeah, it like went into wireframe. It was awesome.
But the game is, I think it's still alpha. The build, it looks amazing. I did not get to play it, but I think it's out relatively soon, like the next couple months. Not totally sure on that, but
yeah, they got to work on a few things. There was one part where I walked up to a door that I was supposed to go through. And it didn't seem like I was supposed to go through the door at all. And the lady at the booth was like, no, you're supposed to go through. I'm like, really? Okay.
Yeah, I watched the trailer today, and like she held up like a teddy bear. The character held up like a teddy bear, and it dissolved the door in front of her.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. I was like, that's pretty cool, actually.
Let's get them particle effects.
Yeah. The lighting, though, seriously, not even from playing it, just from looking from afar.
I asked Garrettson like how scalable the game is, and he's like, it's not. It's all lighting. It's gonna wreck everything.
Yeah, he specifically said, he was like, there's so many people who have talked to us that played it were like, why isn't this run on my laptop from 3 years ago? Because it's Unreal 4 by a computer screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, but two more games we're going to talk about real quick, because Nick tried this game, and Brandon played the game I'm about to talk about at Prime, but I don't know if he played it at East this year. But Marvel Heroes, which I did not think was that great at Prime, and still I have not gotten a beta invite for that. But anyway, they had a different level playable. It's an action RPG with all Marvel players. I almost said all Mexican players, and that would have been weird.
Whoa, dude.
He's right there, Dan.
Whoa.
Marvel Heroes.
And they're all gassy.
Gassy in the chat gives me the sad face. I apologize. But we got to play a level that's later in the game, and I guess with the free-to-play... Oh, shit, I forgot about that game. People in chat are reminding me of other games. We got to highlight these for you, though. So, it's going to be free to play, but you're going to be able to buy other Marvel characters, kind of like League of Legends model for it. But it's an action RPG, and it played much better, the level we got to play. It was in the Savage Land. You fought against Sauron. It was pretty cool. I had a good time on it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, I don't know how the free-to-play system is going to work out. You were saying it was probably going to be like League of Legends.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I think.
It out. And I think for that type of game, like, grinding isn't really an issue because that's what you're going to do. So, I mean, that could work out potentially. I hope it does because I enjoyed what I played.
Yep, but
that was the one thing that surprised me is on the way home when we talked about, what do you want to, what were you excited to play? Several people in the van were like, Marvel Heroes.
It was enjoyable. It was pretty, and the combat was good, and I played as Cyclops, and I shot lasers out my eyes.
So I'm gonna move to another title real quick. I know it's freaking getting ridiculous. So many games that people. I know. Delver's Drop, which is another action RPG, which has kind of a. It's not 8 or 16-bit or anything like that, but it's an older style, like cartoon style of art.
Just put it in me. Just put it in me. I want to play all of it.
It's top down, as opposed to isometric, which a lot of action RPGs are, like what you're used to from Diablo 2 and stuff. But
basically, the devs that we talk, I think that, like you said earlier,
I think like
every single person from KBMOD
gave them a
5
card.
of our cards.
Yeah, but
it's like Isaac meets Zelda.
Yeah, so there's several different modes you can play, which is the cool part. So it's a dungeon crawler, just like Diablo, but you can do 4-player co-op, 4-player versus. 4-player like I think there's even going to be some sort of domination mode you can play, but there's also an endless mode where you can just keep going. Well, no, hardcore's slightly different. You can play an endless mode where you just try to get down floors and as far as you can, and eventually the floors are so hard that you die. So you set a high score. It's just a high score mode. Then there's hardcore, as there is in Diablo or any of those games. And hardcore consists of you going through the mode, and it's in a save game. And if you die, let's say on floor 10 or something like that, when you get back to floor 10 under that save game, if you get back to floor 10, you will have to possibly fight a ghost of yourself that died on that floor wearing the same gear you died in.
And all your equips. Yeah,
and you can get multiple copies of that happening. So you might even face up to 10, and at a certain point you just won't be able to play that save anymore, they said, because you just died too much.
The dev said it would be just impossible to get past that floor at that point.
So it's pretty cool mechanic there, but otherwise it's collect loot, move down in levels, like
but
it looks pretty cool.
Collect loot, drop down.
It's coming out end of October, but we really like that.
There's one other game from the indie titles that I'd like to talk about that I know Nick and I both saw. Two brothers from Axe Studios. It essentially looks like Link's Awakening for the Game Boy. And there's not a whole ton of info about it. We got the press kit, and we'll be posting an article about it. But essentially, the basis is it's like Legend of Zelda: Secret of Mana, and you are one of two brothers that dies, goes to the afterlife from this monochronic world into this full Technicolor world. And they decide that, well, you know what, you're not ready to be dead yet. We're gonna send you back. So then you and your brother spend like the rest of your life trying to find those afterlife pillars in the real world. It looked amazing. The devs were super excited about it. It was a great throwback to those type of games. They crushed their Kickstarter goal, which I just linked. We'll be getting the game sometime soon, and they were super cool to us. We really want to cover them some more, and it will be in our it'll be in our write-up.
Our final write-up, yeah.
One of my favorite things I liked about it was the whole retro love letter thing, was that they were actually displayed on monitors that were fit inside what looked like giant Game Boy Colors.
Yep. They literally had like gigantic wooden Game Boys that they had put it in.
It was awesome. It looked really good.
Oh god, someone in chat just linked me in Deadliest Catch. Anyway, so last game we're going to talk about, because we are going long tonight, but Recoil, which I played, Brandon played.
Darkwing was apparently going to be in their competition, and we held him hostage at lunch, and he couldn't do it.
But Brandon, go ahead. Since you played, the Twitch team just shit all over the dudes from Astro. You can talk about who was on your team too, because that's just not fair. So go ahead.
Yeah, we played Recoil at Prime last year when it was quite I guess that was like an early alpha build.
Pre-alpha even.
Yeah, that was a very early build, and felt pretty raw. And this build felt a lot different, just in terms of it looked different. It was definitely more polished. They had shadows, they had more graphical options. It was hard to say how it looked because I think we were playing on low to get really good frame rates. The idea is for it to be competitive, so graphics probably aren't going to be a huge consideration. But we enjoyed it. We played the Astro gaming team. It was me, John, and TB and our frags.
Yeah, that's
and it did not go well for Astro, but they were good sports. It was a good game. And the build at Prime felt like the sniper rifles were kind of overpowered. This one felt almost the opposite to me. It felt a lot more like the gunplay was focused around the SMGs and that sort of stuff. So I don't really even know, because I feel like the product is still changing a bit. And I don't know. It was fun. What did you guys think?
I thought that the game looks more polished, but there is still a long way to go.
The spawns have
Are
a
they
ton
still
of
on
trouble.
Greenlight?
God, the spawns.
Yeah, they're still on Greenlight. The
God.
spawns are some of the worst spawns in an FPS game ever. Because what happens is, right, you like, let's say you camp a balcony or something with a sniper rifle. Dudes will just start spawning around you because that's just how the spawn works.
Is Rick Leslie on the dev team?
I know, right? And they will spawn literally directly behind you, like within 2 feet, and just shoot you in the head.
Yeah, I spawned, I walked backwards, and I waited, and somebody would pop up in the exact spot that I spawned at. And I was like, well, this is retarded. So, but that's fine. I understand. Those are things that can be fixed. The only thing I really noticed... Yeah, the only thing I really noticed is that if you're ADS on someone and they jump, there was just this guy who was jumping everywhere. The jump is way too high. It's just way too high. They like go completely out of your crosshair. Like I could be shooting at a dude at his shoulders and then he jumps and I'm shooting his ankles. That's not fucking right. Okay.
Have you ever played TF2?
Okay. All right. Sorry.
Maybe he was on
Totally different games, but.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, TF2 was actually a war sim,
so...
so...
Spawns and that jump, those are the only gripes I had. But otherwise, I had fun playing it.
The recoil is kind of insane on some guns.
That's the thing is the recoil. Like I mean,
the game's
name
called
of the,
recoil.
the guns are very true to the namesake because they do have a ton of recoil. But I also felt like that added a little bit of randomness because you're sort of you have to almost spray and pray a little bit, and so sometimes you'll get random headshots and stuff. So I'm not sure exactly. I don't know if that's going to lead to really satisfying gunplay.
They should remove all the recoil and then change the name of the game to Modern Warfare 2.
But that is our last highlight from the show. Keep an eye on recoil. It's been on Greenlight for a while, but I have no idea what their time frame is. Hopefully they get it going. So I'm just going to a few little notes at the end here. Upcoming PC releases, obviously BioShock Infinite in about 7 minutes as our viewership drops to about 10 when you all go start playing that.
I may leave and go start playing that.
But BioShock Infinite comes out obviously in about 6 minutes East Coast.
I totally forgot to reload that.
But some little smaller releases coming out. Fez coming out beginning of May, I believe, as well as Dust and Elysian Tale, which is a game that I really, really wanted to play, but was only on consoles, also coming to PC on May 1st. And Swapper should be out, the game we talked about earlier,
Yes.
within the next month or so, they said. So Swapper should be out in April sometime.
Ask me how I feel about Phil Fish and his release on PC.
Dude, he's a douche nozzle.
Ask me how I feel about Phil Fish.
Before we get, well, we'll go to commercial here, guys, and then we'll get to your Twitter questions. So we'll be right back after a 90-second commercial.
How do you feel about Phil Fish?
Did he not say that he just did it for more money? Essentially, wasn't that like his exact words? After
earlier when he said a couple months before, Fez is a console game. It's for sitting on your couch. I'm not going to make a PC game, guys, because that's not what it is.
Yeah, dude, my office chair is really fucking uncomfortable. Just kidding. My butt is so cushy right now.
But you know what? Even though that's obviously a silly thing for him to say in hindsight.
It's true.
It definitely proves that the PC market is like a worthwhile, vibrant marketplace right now.
It's worth the venture.
Was it just me, or did we see a lot of stuff on PCs?
Oh,
like,
saw a ton of stuff.
Basically, every indie game that wasn't Wii U specific was on the PC.
Yeah, I mean...
No, even more than the indie stuff. There was a lot of stuff being featured on.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
there were things other than the indie stuff.
Yeah, Nick and I basically spent the entire show at the Indie Mega booth.
There were things at PAX other than Shovel Knight.
There were a lot of iPad games. I saw a lot of tablet games.
I thought we went to ShovelCon 2013.
We essentially did, Nick.
I actually didn't even get to highlight. Like Brandon said, Brandon tried out NVIDIA Shield. Bob tried it out, said it's pretty good.
Yeah, Bob liked it a lot. He was excited for it.
All right, Bob.
Bob was excited for it because he has 680s and wants to sit on his couch and play BLR while his kids punch him
the
in
thing
face.
is, I don't think. Was that even playable? Like, was that part of it?
No,
playable?
that was not playable.
No. I'm talking about the streaming stuff.
No, that was not playable.
Wait, I thought...
No, they did demos of it. It was not playable.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They said it wasn't ready.
He went to the one demo of them streaming a 680.
Yeah, they did it, but you couldn't do it.
I mean...
I played, like, GTA Vice City on it, and I was like, okay. this is a thing that you can buy and play Vice City on.
Like,
Okay,
no, but what they said to Bob,
dissuade me from buying that.
what they said to Bob was, they straight up said, the streaming from the video card is really cool, but it is not ready for prime time.
Well, I mean, sure, it's the first iteration. Honestly, you know what's ready for prime time after this weekend? Ouya. I can't wait. I'm buying one. Day
whatever,
one.
I'm not. So, Twitter questions. This first one here. What was the from Eddie J? Eddie. Man from Scotland.
Jane, #1 Scotland COD commentator.
Most insane game / booth / panel you saw at PAX. Twitch booth was fucking nuts.
Yeah, Twitch booth was legit.
I gotta say,
huge,
dude.
crazy.
Yeah, Twitch booth was bad.
I'll say it. League of Legends was insane because they have so much money they can invest all that money into those ridiculous statues that were really amazing.
I was gonna say the League of Legends booth, but I actually couldn't see it itself. Because
there's a million people around.
Yeah, it was surrounded by like a legion of gay nerds and cosplayers.
I couldn't get more than
a bunch of nerds is what they were surrounded by.
You were at least 50 feet away from that booth unless you were the first people into the con. Like
I tried going into that booth at least 5 times to get cards for people.
Yep, nope.
And I never once could even get close to it. I didn't know where to go. You couldn't see anything. You just saw
they're busy moshing at the League booth from 10 to 6. They just mosh.
I was busy molesting cosplayers, regardless of gender, like somebody on a Tokyo subway train.
But the craziest booth to me was actually the Wildstar booth.
I was gonna say
because
Wildstar,
it was kind of out of nowhere and it looked really cool. Like Twitch was insane. Also, the TV on the Elder Scrolls booth was nuts.
Yeah, that screen was absurd.
That screen was absurd.
I was just confused by the Elder Scrolls booth because like there would be like 50 people standing in front of it watching a trailer that was released 3 weeks ago. I was like,
yeah, but it was
the screen. It was the screen's resolution.
But it was this way.
I watched it like 50 times.
They were congesting the area.
My favorite was the Smite trailer they were playing at Loot on the at the Twitch Twitch booth. That looked like a undead rogue from World of Warcraft Vanilla's gang video.
That's an exclusive song, guys.
Bro, master.
It seriously was like a Metallica B-side meets the worst YouTube video you've ever seen.
Yeah. But Wildstar had a cool booth. I think Wildstar looks really good.
I do too.
But there's another game, City of Steam, which had a cool booth. It's a browser game. It's not out yet. I was hoping it was. I was going to try to stream it today, but it's not.
Did you guys see the Magic booth? I actually thought their booth was pretty cool. With like they had a sort of a curved screen. Going around part of their booth. I thought that was really neat.
You know what? There was one booth I really liked that I didn't even get a chance to play at, and I was kind of disappointed I didn't. iRacing.com had like 6 big screen TVs and 6 full-on cockpit racing setups.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Impressive booth, and I thought that would be fun to play at.
Also, actually, go ahead, Nick.
My favorite booth was actually Double Fine because I just sat like 40 feet away. And I just breathed heavily while looking at Tim Schafer. It's like
you saw him?
Yeah, it took me forever, but I finally managed to see him through the crowd. It's not easy being short.
God damn it! I wanted to meet him so badly.
Rocco met him.
Rocco met him.
Yeah,
Rocco met him. Yep, Rocco met him.
He intercepted him on the way back to the booth.
Yeah,
Rocco
he
could barely even talk to Frontal out with me, and he met fucking Tim Schafer. What an asshole!
Shout out to the PopCap Games booth for having the most annoying sounding, like, test your strength bell hammer game.
If I ever
I didn't even know what booth that was. I didn't even know what booth that was.
If I ever meet the guy that thought the strength testing machine at PAX was a good idea, I will kill him with the mallet.
Dude,
it's so annoying.
They probably helped out with that other booth thing at the front that I'm not even going to say their name because that thing sucked.
Renee reminding me of the Mustache Emporium booth, which was like carved out of a single piece of wood and then placed upon the PAX floor. That thing was crazy looking. Also, that dude's mustache was totally legit.
The Geek Sheet booth was pretty excellent too.
But there was there's always a lot of crazy stuff. A lot of good This year had a lot of good cosplay. Tons.
Oh, heck yeah.
Good cosplay.
A lot of great TF2 cosplays, actually.
I saw, you know who I saw the most of? Fucking Fix It Feel It from Fix It Felix from Wreck-It Ralph. Like 15 of those. Like all over the place. Men, women,
Children?
everything. Yeah.
You know what my favorite cosplay was?
What?
This next Twitter question. Move on.
All right. Wow. Dude.
I did it for Brandon. I could see it in his eyes.
I could see it in
At
chat.
Staffu Noob asks, of all the selfies taken on the trip, which one is your favorite?
I gotta take this off the bat. I'm sorry. When I wake up and look at my phone and go take a picture,
Those
and
are
there are
mine.
fucking selfies of Dan and Mike Pollack on my phone for no reason at all.
We took
Them
a
and
series
Ben.
of selfies with
Jesus.
different faces on each selfie.
That's my favorite. Just looking at my gallery and finding that.
Mine isn't a selfie, but it's a picture of me holding orb that Chezz took, where we both have our eyes closed and like we just look like confused. We're just like,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize this question said which not selfies were your favorite.
Not selfies?
My favorite selfie. I don't know.
Diction had some really good ones this weekend.
I like.
Mine's the one I took with Diction at the Twitch party while we were both super
I liked
drunk.
the sext you sent to Mike Pollack, Nick Jenkins.
That was pretty good.
That was pretty good. It was just his crotch, and he said, "Reddit, how am I doing?" or something like that.
I don't remember what I said because I was so. Like,
where he had his finger through his fly.
I DM'd him. I DM'd him on Twitter on my way home because I was like, text me, take a stealth picture of Dan and text it to me.
God damn it! This was happening all weekend, dude.
I wanted to tweet it at you so you would be like, how the fuck is he getting stealth pictures of me now that we've both gone home? I wanted to do that, but unfortunately he said he couldn't do it without a flash. And
Dude, I got so many stealth photos of me taken, mostly by Blacklight but by other people too. I was like, why are they
Those are my favorite ones, like at lunch. We had random stealth pictures from across the place.
John was dying when I did that.
Oh my gosh, that killed me.
My favorite selfie was the one I got with Dan that was supposed to be a reaction shot for Dunkus because he felt bad about ripping Dan's shirt open.
Oh god.
and then I accidentally sent it to Rishi too. He just like kissing Dan on the head.
Moving on. This one's a weird question. I don't know if we've ever had this before. Brandon's going to be shit out of luck, I think. But at Kekakol...
You said it right.
Good job,
right.
dude.
Reach as far right left as you can and grab an object. What is it, and what does that say about you?
I'm like in the open.
Brandon's
so.
got no
To the
objects,
left?
so he's
As
like
far to the left, correct?
or right.
I don't belong on KB.
As far to the right or
right?
to the left. Okay. I can do that.
Mine's really
Mark,
boring.
that's too good an answer. You set that up.
Sorry. Sorry, I reached exactly to my right, and that's what's sitting on my table.
So Brandon's got a
as I
charger.
can go. That's as far as I can go. Right there.
You have a Les Paul.
I just beat Twilight Princess right before PAX.
I have my Les Paul. That's it.
I have a tissue because I'm sick.
Yeah, play Offender. They're better.
Yeah, eat my nuts. They're not.
Halo! There it is.
On PC.
Oh, nice. I got it.
This is
There you
PC.
Black Ops 2 physical copy for PC.
Says
What a
lot about me,
professional.
Master League.
Oh,
Get
well,
at
I
me.
No loading times. It's a cartridge. Gommel.
This question, probably a good time to remind you that we do stream video on the live version of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should probably tune in.
Twitch.tv/KBMOD.
I held up a GameCube controller for anybody who's listening, only audio.
Yeah, I'm holding up Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time for the N64 game.
Nobody plays
Acoustic
Zelda.
guitar? Oh, wow.
I'm holding up $1
Punch
million
Mark.
in cash.
Yeah, I'm holding up a website molded after Dan's a noose. So.
I am holding up Nick Fenton's scrotum.
Nick with $1 big $1 million bill.
just one bill. Just
Legal tender, baby. This next question is a classic grammar typing mistake question, which we will post in chat, but we can't really do anything for you audio listeners, but I apologize for that. This is from at
You
Snobball.
can try to reenact it here.
At Snobball_. Who of you shared room wit at NFEN, and how was the Exprienic?
I didn't share a room with Nick Fenton, but the first time I saw him, he was laying down on the bed and he spread his legs out trying to ruse me, and then I rused him by humping him as hard as I could.
I remember saying, "Hug me with your pelvis."
Yeah, you did say
Exact words.
You did say
Hug
that.
me with your pelvis.
You
We're
asked
not
for
going to
it.
talk about what
No,
he was.
we don't have to
Anyway,
talk about that.
I slept next to Nick Fenton, and I farted on him a lot. So
I literally drove Bob out of our room with my snoring, and then the night he left, I didn't snore at all.
I don't know what that has to do. Machine. Was anyone else in the room with Nick Fenton in here? Oh yeah, Chezz.
Yeah, I exist. I was in your room being the most muscular guy there. So.
That's really true.
In case you were unaware, with the selfies, me and Daniel shared a bed, so...
Yeah.
0 games made for Chezz.
For the second year in a row. Yes. I think it's going to be a ritual.
It might be. It might be.
Should be.
I sword fought with Mike Pollock, so I'm happy about that. And I lost, but I'll try again next year.
I sword fought with Dan. He didn't know because I shoved a sock in his mouth and
Dunkus started a fight with my undershirt, and
he won.
It lost
hard.
Knocked
you the fuck out with that.
I am spoon touched me inappropriately at the Twitch party.
So last question from Steffers. Could I get some funding to write KBMOD erotic fanfic novels?
Done.
We'll kickstart it. Don't worry.
No, I will personally finance it.
Also, quick side story before we peace out. We met at Garrettson at a bar on Saturday night, and it was one of the most insane experiences I've ever been through. It was bar number 3 for Garrettson on the evening.
Garrettson is no joke. He lives up to every expectation and then 1,000 times more.
Everything we say about him that seems exaggerated.
It's true.
It's not under. Yeah.
It might even be under. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched them walk into bar number 2, and then within 5 minutes walk out of bar number 2.
No, 5 seconds.
Bar number 1 had phoned bar number 2 and said, "Don't let that dude with the giant beard and all his friends in."
He's
so
trouble.
He did not get to that one either. Again, and I said this before the show started. We're not going to mention any names of the people he was with, but because he wasn't a problem, to be honest. But he was epic. It was crazy. So we were in this bar that was kind of low key, and he comes in, man. And
Guns
within
blazing.
5 minutes of him coming in, 30 people are there. We were the only people left in the bar. This dude was trying to close. Garrison just comes in, shits on his entire evening. It was like... And then they got thrown out of there, too.
Yeah, shits on his entire evening and then gets ejected by the guy he shit on, so it was great.
He told me he was going to skin me and wear me like a wampa.
Yes, the wampa, that's true.
And then I had to remember what a wampa was, and that's the thing from Star Wars. I was just really confused.
So, yeah, and then he hugged me like a father.
My favorite part of PAX was when you walked up to him the first day and he was like, "Hello, little boy, are you lost from your mommy?"
That's what he does. So, Jared Garrettson, if you see him at Prime, quick thing. Who in this call is going to try to go to Prime? I know Brandon will be there. I will be there.
I will not be able to,
Nick
unfortunately.
Fenton will be there. Nick and
I will try, but I got to get that E-Fame up so I can get money. So.
And I'll actually be able to room with you guys this time, I think.
So.
Yeah, see you, bud.
All right, guys.
I'm going to tackle fuck Nick Fenton.
So that is it for tonight. That is episode 85 post-PAX podcast. A long one for you, but we will be back next week for episode 86 with probably more crazy gaming news because GDC started today. So there will probably be lots of announcements coming out of GDC. Might be another long one next Sunday. And then the following week, everyone cross your fingers, but Jared Garrettson is supposed to be on this podcast on April 7th. So
I'll believe it when he's in the Skype call.
Yeah, I'll believe it when he's in the Skype call. But hopefully we can have him on. He said there will be even more news from them by that time, so we'll see. All right, guys, make sure to follow us at KBMOD Gaming on Twitter, Facebook.com/KBMOD, and of course on Twitch TV/KBMOD, where we stream 6 nights a week. We will see you guys next Sunday night and BioShock Infinite Tuesday night for that stream.
I can't wait. Put it in me.
So later, bros, and NikonPunch possibly streaming after this ends on this channel. I don't know what his plan is, but I think